to be the next entrepreneur who can, establish and give society more than what should, what exactly, is asked for. So thank you so much. And I hand over the session to Shashank.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Gaurav, for a detailed briefing, and a big thanks for helping us hosting this. I would say a good afternoon to everyone, and on behalf of entire Room family, I welcome you all for the Meet the Author session at Lloyd Group of Institutions. And I hope all of you are keeping safe in this pandemic and following studies on your or internship very smoothly. As we are hosting this session virtually, so this is an important thing to tell, that this is streaming live on our Facebook page, going live on YouTube, so that other can also learn from the same session. And it gives me a great pleasure to share that we recently released Fall Again, Rise Again, an inspiring autobiography of Sandeep Aggarwal, the man behind Shop Clues and Room. Sandeep is widely known as father of marketplace in India, and the only tech entrepreneur, probably I know that, who founded $2 billion companies back to back. And we are hosting this session today at like majorly for the budding entrepreneurs studying at various renowned institutes across the country like you. So just let me just show you a small video about Fall Again, Rise Again, and then we'll take this session ahead. Just allow me to share my screen for that. I hope all of you like the video. So let me quickly tell you what all we are going to do today. Firstly, our founder and CEO, Sandeep Aggarwal, will give you the mantras of entrepreneurship and how one can shape up the career in digital economy. He will also share some of the excerpts from his autobiography titled Fall Again, Rise Again. We also have some interesting quiz for our attendees today. And towards the end, we'll have Q&A session where you can take any sort of question with Sandeep. One more thing, we have got an exciting contest running on Twitter for the attendees. So what you need to do is just tweet your favorite moments from the event, use the hashtag Fall Again, Rise Again, and tag Droom handle @Let's Droom and Sandeep handle @Sandeep AGG. You can see the details on your screen now. And 3 members with the most tweets will win author signed copy and exciting merchandise from Droom side. Now, I would like to hand over the screen space to Sandeep to give entrepreneurship guru mantras to our attendees. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Shashank. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are keeping safe and healthy. Thank you for hosting us and for all the kind words. First, what kind of Gaurav mentioned, in terms of, India is going through a renaissance of digital revolution. This is among the largest man-made modern history opportunities, and it is equally available to all of us. This is the first time our biggest man-made social transformation, wealth creation opportunity is available, and it is not limited to someone with a privileged last name or someone who was born with a silver spoon in the mouth. It is available to everyone like you and I, coming from a typical middle-class family background, emphasis on education, cerebral thinking or cerebral choice of career, and unlimited desires to make an impact, right? So if you look at last 300-400 years from, industrial revolution in Europe, in 1750, which tilted the global wealth from China and US to Europe, to gold rush in California in 1850, which created almighty dollar. Then series of innovations by US entrepreneur in the pre-software and technology area, primarily in automobile, planes, sugar, cement, paper, oil, led revolution and rise of US prior to World War I, and then rise of Japan after World War II, rise of China as a global manufacturing hub in the last 40 years, and what is happening in India in a digital industry, especially since 2010. These are the largest opportunities, and we should feel very fortunate that we are at our prime time of the life during this era. The similar revolution in US started in around 1956 when two young boys called Hewlett and Packard happened to meet Tom Perkins. Later on, Hewlett and Packard created HP, one of the largest technology company. Tom Perkins ended up creating Kleiner Perkins. And that's how the modern style, digital-led, VC-funded entrepreneurial ecosystem started. So it's been 65 years for that in US, and from Google to the Apple to Microsoft to Amazon to Expedia, Priceline, Netflix to Dropbox, you can name, from consumer internet to subscription-based SaaS companies to enterprise software and hardware companies. So many new companies have come. US has created $7 trillion in new wealth in last 26 years, primarily from digital economy. China has created $2 trillion in new wealth in last 15 years, primarily from the digital economy. And when I landed in this country after 15 years in Silicon Valley, this country had $2 billion as a value for all the public and private internet companies, 80 million internet users. 2 million out of those 80 million bought something online. The entire e-commerce was 150 million. Online travel and jobs were nicely penetrated, but e-commerce was roughly 0.1 or 0.2% of total retail market. Right? Today, India has more than 800 million internet users. Right? Most of them access internet through smartphone. Online shoppers have gone up from 2 million to roughly 200 million, right? And the value of all the public and private companies would be close to 150 billion. By 2025, this could be actually $500 billion. And by 2030, this could be 800 billion to maybe a $1 trillion, right? And then look at the social transformation. You can get world's best education, best medical treatment, speak to a great doctor, learn guitar, or buy any item. You don't need to be in metro anymore, right? The world's chess champion was a 13-year-old boy from Norway, where sunsets happen at 3 p.m., 200 days, you can't even see sun, very unfavorable weather. And through computer, he practiced so much that he challenged our own Vishwanathan Anand and became a grandmaster, all courtesy to the digital economy and the democratization it creates. So this is a golden opportunity, and it has consistently rewarded people who have tried to jump into the bandwagon, who reached to a stage where they thought that the regret of not doing whatever I want to do will be bigger than anything I give up, who are usually just don't take no for an answer, who believe in a big picture. And so and the biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is it's the first time in Indian history where you are like the chances of you making big in terms of social transformation, wealth creation, and an impact in your career larger than life is not limited to your last name, to your location, to your family background and any godfathers, etc. It is pretty much you can carve out what you want to be, right? So the $6 trillion in new wealth and so much opportunity and wealth and social transformation, same in China. What are the 3-4 things common among those people? They all came from a typical middle class family. They all has emphasis on education while growing up, whether they completed it or not. And they all probably had fairly nice opportunity cost in terms of 10 other things they could do, but they chose to be an entrepreneur, right? And so I think that is an opportunity. We have it. And I also want to place and emphasize that entrepreneurship is not defined by starting a company. It is not defined by the title and the ownership and who do you report and the right. It is defined how do you operate yourself. Like at Droom we work. I think I like to say Droom is a home of 400 entrepreneurs, right? Just a plan, So I absolutely became founder of 2 companies which became very big. But when I was in my early 20s, I was working somewhere. I was exactly same way. Sometime I got paid what I thought I deserved. Sometime I got paid more than what I deserved. Sometime I got underpaid. Sometime I had excellent manager. Sometime my manager was not so good. Sometime I had a very kind and compassionate manager. Sometime very cold manager. But I was always entrepreneurial in my demeanor and behavior. And ultimately it resulted into learnings, exposure, and mistakes and failure and successes, and all became part of who I am today. And same is available to all of you, right? So I'll just take maybe a couple of more minutes. Happy to take more questions. Happy to take questions. I mentioned this in my memoir that it's not everything is hunky and dory. When I went to US, I think I had for my MBA, I had a good resume. I wanted to work in investment banking on Wall Street. I had a good resume for that, but I did not know so many things about the industry. Every possible investment bank called me for a job interview and nobody hired me. I still have 37 rejection letters still filed in my one of the box. Then I ended up working with Charles Schwab, the world's largest online stock brokering firm, followed by Microsoft in their corporate headquarters, and had an opportunity to work with Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, and other senior leaders. And then decided to join Wall Street. And for a single job, I had 6 offers. So, everything comes back. All those 37 failures actually making me ready for a much bigger opportunity. And when I got a Wall Street opportunity, I was so thankful that I got an opportunity to work with 2 companies with operating background. And now I can be very effective in investment banking. Next 4 years, I rose to the rank of becoming among the top 3 best internet analysts ranked by Bloomberg Financial Times. When I started Shop Clues, that time India did not have any marketplace. 31 VCs, very, very famous VCs, rejected. They said there is no way you can have a marketplace in India. E-commerce is very small, unlike US, Western Europe. India is a low trust market. How can you sell someone's item which is not in your possession? How will you ship it? How will you fulfill it? How do you know it is authentic? All were great questions. But I knew the time has come for a marketplace. And I started Shop Clues, a very famous VC. Took 3 months and gave us a term sheet 5 times larger than the money I had previously sourced, but had not raised, identified. He convinced me not to take that money, but take 5 times more money from him at a 40% higher valuation. And when he gave me the term sheet, he said, congratulations, getting a term sheet from us is like equivalent of getting an admission letter from Harvard University. You have arrived. We all left our jobs. I sold my car, household items, ready to move back to Gurgaon. And 2 months later, the Harvard University letter was withdrawn. The VC got nervous because he came to know that Amazon is going to open in India. Right? And then I went back to the previous money I identified. I was very lucky that I got double the money which I had previously identified. Right? So guys, I worked very hard. We were the 35th entrant into Indian e-commerce. One by one, we kept on rising. Within the first 6-8 months, we were very, very lucky. We did well. We became the 4th largest e-commerce company. 2.5 years later, I knew that we have arrived. Now it's just a matter of time. We will go for IPO. And same month, I had a personal legal crisis in US, a high profile one, much published and talked about on internet. Same month. Next 13 months, I had to live in US by myself, away from shop clues, away from my family, friends, and everyone. Right? Daytime, I will work with my lawyers and US prosecutors. Day and night, I will run shop clues from Silicon Valley. Eventually, I had to step out because of the legal turmoil. Right? 7 years later, in fact, as early as this February, the US government dismissed and dropped all charges against me. But I had immense level of collateral damage from that. I think Gaurav, you must have seen it and heard it and discussed it. So a lot of that, but still, I came back after 14 months, almost like exile from USA, started Droom. Shop Clues was in good hands. I was advising, making my contribution, right? I was so nervous. I thought because of my legal case, a lot of people may not team up with me. VCs may not invest. Partners may stay away. Some of that glass ceiling, I must say, was there, but I can't blame anyone. Everyone was very fair, right? But eventually, when we were the 12th company in automobile, like there are so many companies deeply funded since 2008, right? Within 3 years, we became the most valued automobile company online, right? So guys, there's never a straight line. There is always ups and downs. If you have reached to a stage where you say regret of not doing this thing will be bigger than anything I give up, you are not only kind, you have already hit the home run, right? If you are looking for endorsement from people to tell you this is a great idea, go for it, then perhaps it's not innovative enough or disruptive, right? And it is a real test of one's conviction. Most things will be not in your favor, but it's all about mitigating risk and converting something from extremely wild to tame. And that process is very beautiful, but it's very stressful. And on the way, you can team up with great people whom you can call your family. You can make impact, you can make wealth, and you can permanently change one industry, how it should be run or how it should be operated in 21st century. So that's my journey. And I'll really encourage all of you to, consider entrepreneurial and this whole technological revolution as a career option. You all will have multiple choices. You can go into various career fields, will always do well. Each individual on an average work for 40 years. And as they say, first 15 years focus on learning so that next 25 years you can have great earnings, right? And I'll be honest with you, even while I have worked more than 15 years, much older than all of you, but have always still a student of learning and always keep on learning, because one of the things about learning is once you have it, it is inseparable from you. It is interoperable, it is reusable, it is repurposable. So focus on learning and tap into the excellent opportunity India is offering. Time and tide wait for none, and fortune follow the brave. And so it's your time. So with that, Shashank, back or Gaurav, back to you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks a lot for giving this detailed analysis and the way you articulated that there was so many rejection and how you came out, how you rose from all the falling moments, I would say. And you said so many things, but one quote I always follow of yours, that is, startup can fail, but entrepreneur never fails. And with this, we'll move on to the next set. As I said, we have got a small quiz for our attendees today. So let me quickly tell you the rule. You will see a question on your screen. Each question will have certain option. You need to choose the right one. And you will get 30 seconds to answer each question. I'll take my colleague Isha Aggarwal help here. As you know, in KBC, host doesn't know any question, any answer. Similar way, I don't know any question, any answer. So Isha will help us with that. Isha, I request if you can just help us with the first question of the quiz.
Sure, Shashank.
So first question on your screen is, which are the two companies founded by Sandeep? Room and Shopcluse, Snapdeal and Flipkart, Shopcluse and Snapdeal, Myntra and Room. People who are listening Sandeep very focusedly, they'll be able to answer each and every question. Time is running up, just 10 more seconds to go. You can see it on your screen as well. And let's see how many people pick the right answer. And time is up for this. So 86% people give the correct answer. Droom and Shopcluse, these are the two companies founded by Sandeep. What's the next question we have with us, Isha? So next question on your screen is, in which year Shopcluse was founded? 2019, 2010, 2011, 2012. Sandeep did mention in his speech. Let's see how many people picked the correct answer. Time is running up for this as well. Just 8 more seconds to go. And I can see people are filling in their answer. And time is up for this too. 43% people gave the correct answer. 2011 was the year when Shopcluse was founded. Let's see what's the next question Isha has for us. Next question on your screen is, when did Sandeep Aggarwal start his entrepreneurship journey? 10th October 2010, 14th April 2014, 5th July 2012, 8th December 2013. I can give you a quick hint. The book got launched on the same day when he completed a decade of his entrepreneurship journey. And that was in this month only. I can't give more tricks on this. Let's see how many people got the correct answer for this one too. 69% people gave the correct answer. 10th October 2010 when Sandeep started his entrepreneurship journey, and 10th October 2020 when we launched the book. Let's see what's the next question we have with us. Wow, okay. So next question on your screen is, when was Sandeep's autobiography Fall Again, Rise Again was launched? I just gave the answer while I was explaining. Let's see how many people picked the correct answer from this. I can expect almost 100% on this, but let's see. Time is running out for this too. Just 5 seconds left. And time is up. 68% people gave the correct answer. 10th October 2020, I just said the book got released. What's the last question of the evening we have with us, Isha? Last question on the screen is, Sandeep Aggarwal covered which sector as a research analyst? Sandeep worked with Wall Street. So which was the sector? IT, hardware, software, internet, banking, FMCG. He covered as an analyst. Let's see how many people pick the correct answer. It happens in KBC as well. जैसे जैसे ऊपर जाते हैं तो थोड़ा सा hard होते जाते हैं question. As this is the last question, it had to be a little bit tricky. And time is running out for this. It's almost up. Okay, pretty close, but 23% people gave the correct answer. Internet was the industry mostly covered by Sandeep Aggarwal as a research analyst. Thanks a lot, Isha, for helping me to run this quiz. I hope our attendees liked it. Before I open the floor for Q&A, let me remind you, don't forget to tweet and to win the exciting merchandise and the author signed copy, and use the hashtag Fall Again, Rise Again and tag both the handles you can see on your screen. And now it's time to open the floor for question. Simple rules for asking the question, very simple rules. You can see a Q&A box. You can write down your questions there, or simply you can just raise your hand. I'll get to know, I'll give you the access from here, and you can put across your question directly to Sandeep. I can see there are some hand raised. We'll go to Vaibhav Shahi first. Vaibhav, you can just unmute yourself and you can put across your question now. Vaibhav, if you can hear me, you can just put across your question now. It seems Vaibhav facing some technical issue. We'll move to the next participant. Ashish Jaiswal raised hand. Ashish, you can unmute yourself and you can put across your question now.
Sir, I just want to ask the question from sir that how was the like when he got first idea in his mind and how much time did it took to implement or come in the market itself?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very nice. So, um, I first time came with the idea of shop clues on 10th October 2010, and this was on my way from a flight from Delhi to San Francisco where I lived, and I pretty much started working that day onwards, and finally shop clues was launched on 21st November 2014. So you can maybe say roughly 13 months it took for us to from idea to fully pursuing it, writing business requirements, creating a technology around it, raising a first round of capital, creating a very nice robust team, moving from USA to India, getting our first office done, and a lot of other things, right? Branding and collateral and social media and all other things. So yeah, so roughly 12 to 13 months it took from idea to fully commercially launching Shop Clues. And almost similar type of timeline, I would say, slightly lesser for Droom, because I did not have to move to India. I did not have to raise the money the way I raised in the last time. Did not have to look for office and many other things because I had already done that once before. So it took roughly 7 to 8 months.
Thank you, Sandeep. I hope Ashish got the answer he was looking forward. We'll move to the next participant. Kunal Aggarwal is the person. Kunal, you can unmute yourself and put across the question now.
Yes. Thank you, sir. It was a great session. Nice to hear you. Now, I want to ask that as you have started the Shop Clues in 2011 approach, and it is a big company now. Then what came into your mind, or which moment of your life inspires you to start a Droom in 2014?
Yeah, Kunal, thank you for the question. So Kunal, actually, when I was running Shop Clues, I thought I'll just retire one day from there, several decades later or whenever. But I had some personal crisis, which I mentioned, a personal legal crisis in USA, for which I had to stay away from the company and family and India, away in USA. Because of that, when I was coming back to focus on work, I decided to start my inning all over again. And that's how Droom came into being.
Thank you, Sandeep. I hope he got the answer he was looking forward. Next, we move to Neetu. Neetu, you can unmute yourself and put across your question now.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. It was indeed great to hear from the person himself about his life challenges and the way you came out of it. So my perspective of asking you a question would be more from a mentor to students who helps them, because I'm a faculty here. So, sir, my question is two directed. Firstly, sir, you have, and what I went about seeing your insights on the about your book, etc. What I read about it, I see a lot of synonym between phoenix, where it is symbolized as something that vanishes. The flames and the combustion completely neutralizes it, and it comes back. And the way you stated it in terms of your personal and professional lives, you have gone through a period of renaissance like a phoenix. So I would like to understand two perspectives. One is, what is it that actually drives and what drove you to come out of that phoenix? What are those key features or the drivers in your mind that actually help you leave the situation? And secondly, considering the scope at which the industries are moving, and the speed at which everything economy is changing, how much is falling more important than actually gaining up? Can we now try to teach our students to be able to bridge this gap of not falling before they rise? So my perspective are two. One is the challenge and what make you come out of it, and how is it that we do not make them fall at the first go, so that they learn this understandings or experiences before without falling, if I am able to convey what I'm trying to say, sir.
Sure, absolutely. No, Neetu, thank you for both questions. So on the first part, Neetu, I think it has to do with human spirit, undying hope, ability to take dream without conditions, right? I think um, it was not only like that. These were the things which probably helped me to come out when maybe the time was not favorable. My chips were down, or something was not favorable. So it's really the undying hope, the human spirit, and ability to take dream. But I would say a lot of these things, especially ability to take dream, always works not only when your chips are down, but also whenever you want to pursue a lot of things, right? As they say that if you aim for a moon, you can get a star. So same way, like I always, somehow whatever was happening, I always knew that, things can go further down, but they will go up. They will go up. Once you start getting little confidence that maybe really down, then you have nothing to lose. Unless you lose your hope, unless you lose your human spirit, you will bounce back. So I think that's how basically those are the I would say three things which help me every time to bounce back. And the biggest one would be the human spirit, undying hope. In terms of avoiding failures, I don't know whether there's a formula and science behind it, right? It's the only thing I would say is that failure is also all relative, right? So I would even call failure maybe a one version prior to success. So it's like a version. Right now Apple launched iPhone 12. iPhone 1 was first version. It is iPhone 12, and it took them to reach from 1 to 12 maybe in 15 years, right? But they have come long way. So failure to some extent, in my view, is just one prototype. If you prototype before where you will not call yourself, or the word will not call you failure. So my biggest suggestion for that would be, first of all, just believe in a power of prototype and learn from mistakes, right? You make some mistake, don't be harsh on yourself. Next time, don't make that same mistake. Even if you make same mistake, have maybe a mistake with a lesser magnitude, or learn from it, right? And so it's a power of prototype. You see any Bollywood actor, you see their first movie versus now. When you see their first movie, most people will say, seriously, they got the lead actor role and they look like that. And with the power of prototype, they kept on evolving. So that is one thing. And second is, in anything you want to pursue, it's never straight line, right? So someone who is not expecting failure and fails finds it much harder to rebound. So if you know that failure is part and parcel to reach to success, then it's not you are not basically internalizing so much that you think, why me and why it is happening to me, right? Third, just keep in mind, success and failure both will teach you, but perhaps failure will teach you even more. So that's how, Neetu, I will answer your question. But unfortunately, there's nothing called where you can just avoid any failure from Thomas Edison inventing bulb to Wright brothers inventing plane to Graham Bell inventing phone. None of, rarely the things were like a eureka moment. First time you happen to be successful. Otherwise, it was series of failures and multiple attempt and prototype and getting better. And that's what result into bigger success.
Thank you, Sandeep. I hope Neetu got the answer she was looking forward, and those were like two detailed questions. I'll move to the next participant as we have so many participants lining up. Next, I'm going to Shikha. Shikha Manikalita. Shikha, you can just unmute yourself and put across your question now. Meanwhile, Shikha is listening us. I'll move to the next. We'll go to the Bhumika Prasad. Bhumika, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Bhumika, you are pretty much audible.
So I've seen that Sir is also an angel investor.
Yeah.
So what are the factors that help you decide where to invest? There are many people who have the ideas, but they are not very sure whether it will be profitable or not. So that might like lead to a wrong presentation, or they might not be able to present well the business plan. So how do you decide whether to invest or not?
Yeah. Bhumika, that's a very nice question. Yes, I do invest a lot. In fact, in last 2 months or maybe 2 months or slightly more than 2 months, I've already invested in 4 companies. So, typically I invest in early stage companies. So I will not focus on profitability. I will not focus on operating metrics. I primarily focus on the person, market opportunity, maybe role of technology, and can you create a scalable business? And do you assign a tough commitment? Are you passionate about what you do? I'll be honest with you. All the investments I have done is primarily on around these 5-6 parameters. So, because first 3 to 4 rounds of any company takes 6 to 8 years to create a world-class company, right? It's very different than starting a franchisee for a pizza or a coffee shop or a petrol pump or something else, right? These are the kind of businesses I invest are the one which takes 6-8 years to create a world-class company, very scalable, very repeatable. At scale, they'll create shareholder value. So really, if the person is passionate, it will no longer be a job for that person, right? If the person has a tough commitment, rain or shine, they will not give up. If market opportunity is very big, the markets will be so much more forgiving because the opportunity is so much bigger, right? If you have using technology, it can give you unique advantages. If you think about scale, even if you don't have proven for profitability, have you proven for scale, which most of the technology companies of current era are at, you still create value, right? What is your personal background, right? Why you, why now, why this? Pretty much that is what I look at it. And that's how it operates. If you are starting now and someone is spending so much time in your operating plan and profitability and how will you make money, reality is he will very likely is not going to write a check. Every company I ended up starting, every company I ended up investing, it was pretty much these 5-6 factors in the beginning, first 2-3 years.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for this answer. Actually, this answer was very detailed and answered so many questions came in the Q&A box as well. I can see there are questions dropping in the Q&A box. One quick question from the Q&A box, and I like this one as well. Soman Srivastav would like to ask, since many companies were already operating in online in India, what were your thoughts just before launching the shop clues in India?
Yeah, if nobody was operating, I don't think I would have started Shop Clues. I don't think I would have considered moving to India, because that time e-commerce was 17-year-old industry, right? But for all practical purpose for India, it was new. And if India is unlike US, Western Europe, Japan, Singapore, Australia, India is a low trust market. So creating a marketplace is not easy. So I noticed that all e-commerce companies were inventory-led model, right? They knew internet marketing very little, and they all primarily did a age-old business, which is buying and selling, but they use internet as a channel. And I knew that the largest retail company in India is going to be an online company, not an offline company. That online company would be a marketplace, not an inventory-led model, because India is the bell curve for the retail market is very different. There are a lot of head and tails. The tails are really long. So what gave me confidence to start when there were already so many companies were there is that I thought that A, e-commerce is ready for prime time. B, the market leader is actually going to be a marketplace rather than an inventory-led model. And C, because nothing was happening in e-commerce, how about I offer managed services where whether it is payment, return policies, or fulfillment is handled by us, because ecosystem is not there to handle that by the third-party merchant. So combination of those three things was a winning recipe, and we executed well, we executed fast, used a lot of technology, and it worked out.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for answering this. I'll move to the next participant in the hand raise. I'll go to Snehata Rai. Snehata, you can unmute yourself and put across your question now.
Thank you, sir, for giving me chance. I wanted to ask to sir that what are his further planning for making Shopcluse more popular or more successful?
See, I don't know whether are you asking what are my plans now for Shopcluse?
So what are your further plannings, like where Shopcluse is right now? You want to make it to the further, or you are happy with this success, or you want it more further with the Shopcluse only?
I moved on from Shopcluse several years back, so I no longer run Shopcluse. So since 2016, I am not involved in the company. I run Room, and that's where I spend 100% of my time. And there we are basically, changing how the automobiles are bought and sold. So, people buying new or used motorcycles. And so we are creating a whole ecosystem from a pricing to the comparison to the history to the loan and insurance, and primarily investing, unlike other players who are opening more physical center, buying the vehicle in 30 minutes, using their working capital to buy, underballing you the price. We are running an online matching platform and creating a whole ecosystem, and that's how we are expanding. And company has come a long way. We were doing close to 8,000 crore rupees worth of business pre-COVID, and hopefully in next 2 months we will be back to the same level, and hopefully could be doing 20,000 crore rupees on an annualized basis by December of 2021.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for answering this. I'll move to the Nutan Chakya. Nutan, you can unmute yourself and put across your question now.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is that what advice you would like to give to budding entrepreneur?
Yeah, see, Nutan, as I mentioned earlier, I will just encourage every budding entrepreneur to take, to try it out, right? When in 1850, the gold rush was happening in California, not everyone found the gold, but there was one thing common among everyone who found the gold. And that was that they moved from wherever they lived to California to look for gold. So the biggest advice I'll say to entrepreneurs is to try it out. The best day will never come on platter, right? It will never be that this is the best time for you to start. So none of those things will ever happen. But if you try it out, you will learn from your mistakes. Not everything will be straight line. And one day you will achieve success. But I think the biggest thing is trying out. And I would say that you almost have to, but try out only when The regret of not trying out will be bigger than anything you give up. Try out only if you want to make an impact. Try out only if you can deal with ambiguity. Try out only if you can deal with failures and rejections. And if you can, then it can reward you very big way. So those would be the, advice. The fundraising, team, idea, market, all those are fines that you would be doing for next, if you try out, you will be doing for next 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years. But, convincing yourself and making yourself physically, emotionally, mentally ready for entrepreneurship is the biggest hurdle I have noticed. So dealing with that and becoming ready is the biggest thing.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandeep. Considering the time constraint, we'll take the last two questions from the audience side. Next, we are going to Nikita. Nikita, you can unmute yourself and put across your question now. Nikita Sharma, I'm talking about.
Hi, sir. My question is that starting a business is comparatively convenient, but keeping the same pace and continue developing is very difficult to maintain. So what would you like to suggest to keep the startup stable and grow?
See, startup means no stability. Like in the sense, startup is like, if the country is growing at the rate of 6% GDP, in the industry you are growing, you are operating as a startup is growing at 10%. Startup means really, can you grow 2 times, 3 times, 5 times faster than the industry growth, maybe 10 to 12 times faster than the GDP growth. So startup, honestly, from industrial revolution to the India's freedom fighting to the any startup, I think the startup and stability are almost mutually exclusive. I think passion, unlimited passion going, lot of energy, high sense of ownership, ability to deal with ambiguity, right? Looking at the big picture, celebrating every small achievement, not getting disheartened by any type of failure. All those things are more important than, stability, etc. So I would say just investing in high sense of ownership, right? A big picture, undying desire to change the world with your idea or with your technology or with your way, right? Making sure more and more people buy into your idea, right? There's a close-knit cohesive experience. And so long as you can all sit 3 feet away from each other, can take any business decision in 3 minutes, you will have a lot of things going in your favor. And that way, eventually you can have a longevity. But initially, honestly, chaos and confusion, passion and energy, and undying desire and hopes are the one which are needed.
Thanks, Sandeep. I hope that answers Nikita's question. We'll go to Ashutosh. Ashutosh is really eager to ask question. I can see his text also. Ashutosh, you can unmute
Good afternoon,
yourself.
sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Ashutosh, you are.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, Ashutosh, you are audible.
So my question is that how important networking is, and what are the things that supported you for being a successful entrepreneur, and how you managed all the negativities that are near about to you?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ashutosh, that's a great question. Not many people place emphasis on networking in India. I come from, in terms of, I went to US in 1999. India had only 5 to 7 years of modern style building your career in a corporate setting or multinational companies. So that time even more so, right? But generally, a lot of time people may have negative connotation around networking. Some people may be hesitant about networking. Some people are shy. Some are introvert. Some people are afraid of rejection. Some people are very nervous of dealing with unknown people or someone who can share something. But in my view, networking is very, very important. You only know what you know. But if you manage to network with the people, hang around, who can share 2 things you did not know before, who can help you, guide you, who can, right? So from every job I found, to every company I founded, to every time the capital I raised, to the senior most team members I teamed up, to the greatest partners we got in the companies we were running, all came as an outcome of networking. So networking is very, very important. and one should be graceful, one should be elegant, but one should not be hesitant, should not be shy, should not be introvert, should not be limiting or restrictive. And networking is a very strong, favorable tool for any professional. And especially when you are a student, it almost gives you a license to network with everyone, right? So please continue to do that. It is something where it can really help you open a lot of doors. In terms of avoiding negativity, like, look, it's just, it's a perspective, negativity is part of human emotion. Fear is human emotion, jealousy is human emotion, insecurity is human emotion. Same way negativity, right? Some of the, these are the human emotions. But, if you ultimately keep fundamental things in mind, that, for everything there are two facets. Anything which can go down will go up. Anything which goes up will go down. And ultimately, power of positivity will make you see the world in a more holistic manner. If you keep some of those things, in mind, you can avoid negativity. Anything which is dragging you, anything which feels toxic, anything which is discouraging, anything which feels like judging you, avoid all those things, right? It's sometimes it's not easy, but trust me, just the fact you wake up every day and you say, today I will stay away from negativity. Today I will stay very positive. Anything, even if it is not in my favor, I will always stay positive. And trust me, a lot of things will look very different. That's how I haven't handled my share of negativities.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Sandeep. Though we announced that we were taking last two questions, but I can see there are so many messages coming in the Q&A box, and people are really eager to ask a question. So if you allow, can we just take two more questions? Just two more, if you allow me, Sandeep.
Sure, Shashank, let's go ahead.
Yeah. So there is one question from the Oman side. I'll just read it out for you. He want to ask, if at this time you were just 22-year-old, then which new industry you will lay your hands?
So, this is a great question. Look, India, as I mentioned in the beginning, is going through a very massive digital revolution. Online travel was one of the first one to get penetrated with digital. It's probably 80% of the travel happens online. Jobs, maybe, I don't know, 60%, right? E-commerce is still less than 3%, right? Automobile is 0.5%. You see, mobile phone is maybe 40 to 50%. So there are only 3 to 5 categories of the India's economy which are probably double-digit penetrated. And some of them, not only double-digit penetrated, are reaching to a saturation of online penetration. But there are only 3, 4. Beyond that, everything is up for grab. So if I'm 22, which I'm assuming you are now, pretty much any category is available for you, right? Just think about why that category, why you, how technology plays the role, and why the world needs that category in a digital way by you, with some changes, enhancements, or removal of friction. And that's how the new opportunity comes. So, and then, by the way, also even in the non-digital, India has missed industrial revolution. India has missed a lot of revolution. But right now, 1.35 billion people, 250 million middle class, very deep penetration of internet, both offline and online. Opportunities are great. So unfortunately, I can't pick one category, but you can pretty much see beyond a couple of categories, almost every category is up for grab. Whether you create a chain of stores throughout India, whether you make it online, whether you create a service which is delivered online or digitally or in a branded or standardized manner, there are tons of opportunity. I don't think you will fail because of poorly identifying the market opportunity, right? I think, when do you do it? Who do you team up with? How do you use capital? How do you maintain your emotional and mental composure? right? How do you execute? What is the role of technology? Do you even measure what you are doing? All those things will determine. Otherwise, people, Lakshmi Narayan Mittal, one of the richest NRI, got into the steel industry at a time when everyone getting out, and he was definitely not 22, right? And became one of the richest person living outside of India, right? So it's really, it's really why you, why now, why this. And so long as you are very clear about it, you will make a meaningful sense from any business.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for answering this. Next question coming from a third year student from B Pharma. Want to ask, amidst collapsing economy, how did you overcome from the slowdown, and what was going through your mind to run the business during this pandemic?
See, that's a great question. Look, what we are experiencing since March has not been experienced by anyone in any industry, in any country for last 100 years. It has been quite devastating, very, very challenging times. And every time someone tried to spread their wings, they were got chopped because of external factors not in their control. So, so what kept us going is really, we took this opportunity to accelerate our innovation, started spending less on marketing, less on operations, but more on technology. Ultimately, what happened in our category especially is people started avoiding public transportation. People started avoiding ride share. People started avoiding physical retail for automobile. And people started avoiding new vehicle and preferred used vehicle. All those four things went a lot in our favor. And our last 6 years of technological investment, which got accelerated during the corona, helped us to rebound. As I mentioned, we were doing around 8,000 crore rupees in annual business before COVID. And we are already back to around 5,500 crore rupees now. So a couple of months more will be back to that level, and hopefully much higher. And the thing is, our user experiences are becoming better. Our technologies are more delightful. We spend less money to run the same operations. So all those things have gone in favor. So biggest thing I would say is, the biggest thing you can do as an entrepreneur is convert every challenge into an opportunity. And that's pretty much we did. And a long way to go. But everyone at Room has been loving, taking this opportunity and thinking in a deeper way and in a different way versus how we were before COVID.
Thank you, Sandeep. We are just taking the last question of the evening coming from Ashish Jaiswal, because he actually requested so many time in the Q&A box. I'll just give access to Ashish. Ashish, I can't see you. But Ashish, if you are still there, you can just raise your hand and I can give you the access. Yes, Ashish is right here. Ashish, over to you. You can put across your question now.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ashish.
Ashish?
Sir, yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are, Ashish.
Sir, I want to ask that how difficult it is to start a company alone, because as I had seen that you are alone the founder of Supplos and Zoom. A founder alone has to do marketing, have to deal with clients, have to do research and plan, do everything alone. So how difficult it is to work alone, and is it okay to work alone, or we must search a founder of same mindset or something like this to start a company? And one more question, sir, that if I want to get an investor, so should I get the investor in my early stage only, or should I start my business first and run for 1 or 2 years and see the condition, then go for funding? Thank you, sir.
Ashish, both are wonderful questions. And so on the first part, Ashish, you have to start rather than are you starting alone or with a team, right? Right. Once you start and you have a lot of passion, a lot of cachet of energy, good ideas, eventually you will be able to team up with very smart people. You'll be able to attract money. You'll be able to get a landlord to give you office. You'll be able to get customer. You'll be able to get partners. You'll be able to get a chartered accountant to open a company, a bank to open a bank account, and so on. So, if you have multiple team members who are co-founders, very beautiful. If you are by yourself, there's no way you should just give up, because you should just, every time I started, literally everything I knew, I ended up doing it. But everything I touched eventually became a role. Then someone came for that role. Then eventually that role became a department. Then multiple key people came for that department. And eventually those departments became very big, could not sit even on a single floor, right? So it is always like that. And definitely in a modern style of doing business, unless you are a chartered accountant, lawyer, doctor, architect, and you do like to do a single person practice with a few people, that's very beautiful. That's how some of these professions have been done. But if you want to create a company, which is truly an institution where everyone come and contribute, then eventually, yes, having more a team member is great. But one should not stop or not trying just because they are, of course, it's going to be a lot of work. I have more people working with me now versus 3 years back, but I don't think my work has become any less. In fact, it has become more. But I can't tell you how much I learned from them, how much they learn from me, and the collaboration. So all that has gone really well. In terms of second part of your question, I think that's excellent question, Ashish. A lot of people struggle. When do they get the money, right? My point is, for every stage, there's a money. When you say, I am Ashish Jaiswal, this is my background, and I want to do something, and I will not give up. That alone maybe is a seed round. Next time you say, I'm Ashish Jaiswal, this is I want to do. I have done some work around my idea, and I have 2 more team members who have joined me. We will launch our product or service 3 months from now. That could be angel round. Then you say, this is Ashish Jaiswal, this is my team, this is my office, this is logo, this is branding. We have already started. We have not started spending money on marketing, but product is ready. We are launching, or we have launched. That is Series A. That's a 3rd round of capital. So my point is, a lot of people think that they need to have an idea, team, office, right, up and running business, making money, then only investor will come. No, that would be a late stage investor. When you are about to go public, that will be a private equity investor. When you go public, mutual fund, endowments fund will invest. But when you just say, I want to do something, that is your dad or your friends or family. That's a friend and family round, right? Next would be angel investors, which could be I or Shashank or Gaurav or others. Next could be someone who invests early stage. Next one who would be invested mid stage. But you are absolutely right, Ashish. Most first-time entrepreneur or early stage entrepreneurs always think that they almost need to be sounding like a multinational in order to raise the first round of capital, which is not true, right? So at every stage, there's a different round of capital available, and you should be very aggressive and assertive and decisive to raise that round of capital. And your story should be intact for that round. If someone is investing in an early stage, how can you behave like a late stage company for them? If they're asking questions about late stage, or you are behaving late stage, in any of those situations, the money will not be available.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for taking this question, and I hope this answers Ashish both the queries. But big thanks to all the attendees. There were so many good questions coming in, questions pouring in the Q&A box, and for like takeaway for me is Sandeep rightly said that you are ready as an entrepreneur when you are not asking yourself, when will I be ready to start my own? So that's the takeaway. But anyone, because we can't take so many questions, anyone who wants to interact with Sandeep or want to know more about anything about entrepreneurship can visit sandeepaggarwal.com, or he or she can write a mail, sandeep@sandeepaggarwal.com. You can just write a mail, and Sandeep would be available for mentoring you. So with this, we came to an end of the session. But before my closing note, I have to announce the Twitter contest winner as well. We have two winners. One is Inni Chauhan and second is Shubham Mishra. I'll coordinate with Aarti and you will get your author signed copy and cool merchandise from Droomside pretty soon in your campus. I'll coordinate with Aarti. And I have one more announcement for attendees that as the book is got released on 10th October, it is available for sales on Amazon, Flipkart, Droom, and many more bookstores near you. So pick your copy as soon as you can, because first few thousand copies are signed by authored, and whenever you do read them, do share your experience on Goodreads, Amazon, or your social handles wherever you want to share your reading experience of that. I would like to give a big thank to Dr. Vandana Arora Sethi, Group Director, Lloyd Group of Institution. Aarti Nagrat, she is People Connect Specialist at Lloyd. And of course, Gaurav Arora, he's the advisory member at Lloyd Institution. Big thanks for hosting us. Before Sandeep, we take a lead from you. Dr. Vandana wanted to just share some words. Dr. Vandana, over to you.
Hi, Shashank. Thanks for this. What a wonderful session. I couldn't have missed an opportunity to speak in front of Sandeep, obviously. And so all I wanted to say is that sometimes, all it seems is that failure tends to be more public than success. And at least that's what we perceive it to be. So though we fret it, we sometimes avoid it, we question ourselves every time we have unconventional ideas, like so many of them shared by Sandeep. But the simple truth is that no great success is ever achieved without failure. So it could be an epic failure, or it could be a series of failures, like Sandeep mentioned, Edison also. So Edison's 10,000 attempts to create a light bulb, and then coming out with a success story, or Dyson's 5,000 attempts to invent a vacuum cleaner. So many of them. But whether we like it or not, failure is a necessary stepping stone. And but a true living example here is Sandeep Aggarwal himself, whose journey we just witnessed. And what a journey, astounding, and we are no less than impressed. I can't wait to read the book myself now. Much thanks, Sandeep, for bringing this to us. As it is said, management is about arranging and telling, and leadership is about nurturing and enhancing. And that is how we deal with our students here, Sandeep. We bring in the best resources to inspire them to rise, fall, and rise again. So, and in your words only, like you said, you can carve out what you want to be. We can choose to be an entrepreneur, and I hope my students are listening here, by not only having a startup, but having an entrepreneurship approach. So even in the current jobs. So we have an e-garage here, we have an innovation and incubation center, and my students in business analytics lab, supply chain, logistics, e-commerce, human resources, and law and pharmacy, various courses that we run here, totally take advantage of that. And we are taking all steps to strengthen the incubation center more. Your rise has been astounding. I repeat again, with very high conviction, like you said, and mitigating the risks. I'm sure this is an inspiration to everybody with 37 rejection letters and then moving to a dream job in Wall Street Journal. We really salute you and bow down for all that you have achieved. In total gratitude, Sandeep, for this. To your team, Shashank, to everyone else on the team, Gaurav for the connect, and Aarti for coordinating so well. Sandeep, we are waiting to have a communication with you real soon in person as well, after the pandemic, whenever you're in India. And you've inspired not only students, but all of us too, because we are yet to complete 40 years of working. The last 25 are still on. Such an honor to have you with us. Thanks again, and all the best for the book. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So with this, we come to the end of this session. A big thanks to all the attendees taking time for this session. And a big thanks to our management once again. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.